sound is that? Oh,
Huh?
I was hearing something. There we go. I'm sorry. My return was active. What the hell was that? It's freaking me out. Let me turn this down. There we go. Sorry about that. Welcome to Top FC TV. I got my man. Oh, I got Daud here and Joseph were kicked out, but let me just add these guys on and we can get started. Welcome to Top FC TV again. We had a technical problem right there, but I'm happy to be back live with a great panel. We're going to preview this weekend. Still a lot of good football in the Premier League. We're going to talk Arsenal, Villa, Newcastle, Tottenham. We got Chelsea. Chelsea against who, Joe?
Everton.
Everett. Ooh, the battle of the blues right there. Um, but before that, of course, I want to introduce everybody. Will Stewart, you already know, Tottenham fan, and you got Daoud right here for the first time, Arsenal fan, coming on the channel. I appreciate you coming on, brother. Um, Joe, Chelsea fan as well. Somehow we ended up with a London rivalry in this panel. Wasn't meant to, but it's happening. But I would like to get started before we talk about the weekend. And we're going to be live for about 55 minutes. So we got to be quick and steady with our points. But I want to start with the Tottenham match that happened yesterday. And still a lot of, I've been looking at it, watching, reading people on Twitter, all over the place, on Facebook as well. Talk about this old Postecoglou relentlessness for offense, regardless of anything that happens on the pitch. And I wanted to get y'all's perspective. I want to start with Will being a Spurs fan. I don't think I talked to him yesterday. I don't think he sees a problem with it. But what are your thoughts, man? Is Postecoglou just going forward nonstop, regardless of anything? And have five players on the pitch, it doesn't matter. You're still attacked, or is it just a myth? It happened once against Chelsea. What are your thoughts, bro?
Yeah, 100%. It's just a myth. It's not actual reality. If you're watching the games that we've played over the last 4 games, that those tactics are what cost us any of those points that we dropped. The Chelsea one, you can make that argument, right? Because we were playing, we had 9 men at the black, playing at the halfway line. That's a conversation that can be had. That's realistic. After that, though, we didn't play that way against Wolves. We played far deeper than we've played all season, and we still lost 2-1. We went into Aston Villa, dominated the game for 90 minutes, and off of lack of concentration and a couple flukes, we ended up losing 2-1.
Right.
We drew with Manchester City 3-3. And then yesterday, we dominated them completely, and the only quality chances they had on goal were the 2 that we gifted them. So it's not a tactics problem. It's not a Postecoglou problem. It's simply just a quality problem. We are having a problem. There is a crisis at Tottenham. It's just not a manager crisis. It's a quality crisis with the injuries that we have, and that's not an excuse, but it's realistic. They're not available for selection. But each game that we've added a player back, you've seen an increase in quality, not a decrease. So for me, logically, what that says is that it's simply a quality problem, right? Our wingers right now are absolutely horrible. If you look at the first 10 games of the season when we didn't get beat, it was Maddison and Son and Solomon, right? Solomon was finding Son, Maddison was finding Son, Poro was finding Son. The rest of them haven't been. And again, yesterday, bar the first 15 to 20 minutes, Son didn't have a touch in the box for the entire second half. Not a single touch in their penalty box in the second half. Even though we were still creating chances and there were opportunities. You got Brennan Johnson passing when he should shoot, shooting when he should pass. Kulusevski's doing the same thing. I mean, it's been that way. It's been that way all season. Like, there's a lot of games where we should have put teams to bed 4 and 5-0, and we haven't. We've only won 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply a matter of quality, in that Son can't do everything by his own. He had 2 golden chances. He put Skip clean on goal. Skip screwed it up, right? He put Kulusevski in. Kulusevski screwed it up. Son cannot run this entire offense off his own shoulders. There's no player that can. Holland can't do it for Manchester City. Have you seen that, right? They didn't have a shot after the 11th minute in their most recent loss, right? So without service, a striker is worthless, right? You got to have that service. And I'd like to pose this to to the other people on the panel if they disagree with me to think about it in a hypothetical situation. If it was Martinelli's son and Saka in that front line, what do you think that scoreline would have been at the end of the game? Playing the exact same tactics, right? We blow West Ham out of the water, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's simply a quality problem, and until we fix that quality problem, there's nothing we can do about it. It's not something that Ange can fix, right? You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig, right?
Yeah, that's definitely true. I think the way Spurs are playing this season, it's just gung ho. I think just going for the opposition. Not too much worrying about the defending. I think with a lot of teams now, I think they recognise that if you can hang on against Spurs by 1 goal, by 2 goals, I think you can get them in the second half. That happened to you against Aston Villa, happened to you against Wolverhampton Wanderers, where they hung on. I think Wolverhampton was the better team in the second half. And it's something with Spurs where they can't hold on to leads. What is that? 5 games in a row they've taken the lead. They've lost 4 and drawn 1. I think that's the first time in Premier League history a team's taken the lead 5 Premier League games in a row and haven't won. I think you're missing Van der Ven a lot. I think with Romero is an okay defender. For me, I don't rate him highly. I think he's got a mistake in him every game. With Van der Ven, I think he was cleaning up a lot of Romero's mistakes from my perspective. And I think your midfield, I think without Madison, Basuma looks exposed. He doesn't have another technical midfielder alongside him. Also, you've got Bentancur injured as well. So there's another midfielder that you've lost. And I think now for Spurs is just, not trying to lose as many games as possible now until your main players are back. Because if you lose another 2 or 3 games in your next 5 games, if you lose 3 more games in the next 5 games, then you'll be struggling to even get top 4 now. With Man United look like they're getting into a bit of form. You see Newcastle, they've lost yesterday, but they're a bit of form right now as well. So going from title contenders to top 4 contenders, then in a space of 5 more games during the Christmas period, you might even be like 5, 6, 7, 8 points behind 4th position. And then what are Spurs fans going to say then with Ange? Does he have to change his style of play? You can't play the same style of football without the main players injured. I think he needs to, it might be a bit stubborn, but I think he needs to change up. I think he needs to change the tactics.
I disagree 110%. I couldn't disagree more. I couldn't disagree more on how Ange is moving. It's like you walk into he walked into a situation where he was never going to be able to get all the players that he needs for him to have a successful situation in totality. Most of these Spurs fans, Daud, you probably get it a little bit more, but most of the Spurs fans that I've gotten to interact with, specifically the American ones, not as much as the UK ones, because they have a different mindset behind it. But most of them really just have a mindset of like they just wanted to see this kind of football. Like before the season started, if you would have told them to be where they're at right now, they would have bit your arm off. So it's like as much as I want to say, because there's still teams out there, even if you want to even say Manchester United, and I'm going to include us, that don't have a style of play. And not for nothing, Daud, I'm sure the first 2 years of Mikel Arteta, that's what you were begging for, right? But you couldn't give him, Mikel Arteta specifically, you couldn't give him, everybody wanted him sacked, everyone wanted him to change, but he didn't. And it took him a little bit to implement everything, but he ended up doing it. At least you see the progress with them, right? At least you see there's something there to build off of, right? And obviously they need more pieces. We all know that. They need to be replacing the pieces the backups that they have, and making sure that there's adequate competition in a lot of the places that they have, in a lot of positions, a ton of positions. But I can't say Ange change because with what they have, as a unit and an overall team, it's bro, he's doing pretty well with what he has, because we saw what Conte was doing with those same exact players last year.
But I think that the deal is, though, it's not that he should change the way he's playing, because obviously repetition is what's going to get them to play it better every time. You know,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But I think
But Daud said he needs to change, right? That's what I'm saying.
no. But I think Daud is saying it's Daud, by the way, not Daud.
That's fine. It's fine.
But I think that what we're saying, me and him, is that you can be in a situation to where you're why do you have to die with your boots on, or whatever the phrase is? You know what I'm saying? Like you're having 9 players, 8 players. Like it doesn't matter what.
That's a totally such a like. I'm talking withstanding the Chelsea game, right? Like if you're withstanding the Chelsea game.
Well, I use that as an example because Postecoglou has said it publicly. He's not going to change no matter what. He could have 2 players on the pitch, and he's still going to try. You see what I'm saying? Like,
I get that. I get that standpoint, but like, I mean, even in an overall sense of what he's doing, it's what you want a manager in his first year to do. It's like he's implementing a style of play, right? That's the major thing. His first year, he needs to implement the style of play, and not only has he implemented it, he's done it very quickly, very quickly. We got a guy named Poch that can't do nothing for nothing with billions of dollars of players. So, like, for me to see that happening in that city with across the town, and my coach can't implement the style of play for the life of him, I can't. I can't. Even with the 9-man thing withstanding, like if he doesn't do that, if he just sits back with 9 men, like then we just the whole conversation is just flipped on its head because what he's been doing is not what we expected of them at the beginning of the season. It's still like first quarter of the season, you know. That's
I agree with you. And my question for Daud is, and I hope that's how you pronounce it correctly.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Is that where did we fail defensively besides individual mistakes, right? Like, for example, there wasn't any time in which the high line caused their defenders to put our back line under undue pressure in that game against West Ham. Not once.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Now I was just gonna say, yeah, individual mistakes sometimes are caused by the style of football you play because you're more exposed to. It's like, I'll give you an example. When Mikel Arteta first came, he tried to play the style of football that we all wanted, and then it wasn't really working. And then he reverted to a back 3 where he knew the personnel that he had weren't able to play in the back 4. So he had Mustafi, David Luiz, and Kolasinac or Socrates or Rob Holding, where David Luiz in the back 3, in the back 3, he's probably one of the best. He won the league with Chelsea playing in the back 3. So
won a Champions League that way too.
Yeah, won the Champions League. So, but David Luiz can play in the back 3. Romero, can he play in the back 4? We don't know yet. I think you have to adapt to the players that you have.
Can you say that though? He won a World Cup in a back 4.
No, but if you look at it, he didn't play every game.
Adequate cover because
that Romero's the only game he didn't play in the World Cup was the first game, and that was because he was injured.
He didn't play in the final.
It's a thing with Romero, right? Here's the big thing, right? Like with for instance, right? If Gabriel is sitting in the middle and Saliba's not next to him, do you have issues? Do you think you have issues in the game? Like before the game, do you think there may be an issue here, right?
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with Romero, right? Like if he's next to like a guy like Martinez or someone with pace who can cover for him, then he looks like a very good center back. But if he's going to look like Gabriel with his head cut off, because Gabriel can be that way when he doesn't have an adequate partner next to him. We saw it when Gabriel was next to Holding last year. It's the same thing.
What mistakes did Romero make yesterday? Because he was the best player on the pitch for us yesterday.
I'm not saying that it was his fault for yesterday's game, but I'm saying that he is prone to a mistake, Romero, compared to Van der Ven. Van der Ven, since he's come into the Premier League, he doesn't give away penalties as much as Romero. He doesn't get sent off as Romero. He doesn't, Romero is prone to a mistake. We all know that. We can't say that
he's literally not, though, right? Like, I understand people have that perception of him, but that's not actually true, right? He's had 2 yellow cards in the league in his entire 3 years at Tottenham. Gabriel has more for Arsenal. Right. So
how many red cards has he got?
2.
So he's got 2 red cards. So he's got the red card this season against Chelsea.
And a red card in his first season. Didn't have a red card at all last season.
Okay. And also you have to look at how many yellow cards does he accumulate where he misses.
Not even in the top 20.
Not in top 20. Okay,
Yeah.
so
He's
you're
only
telling
had
me that
one-
Romero
He's never
being
missed. He's
Yeah,
never
it's
missed.
actually kind of wild if you look at the
He's
foul
never.
stats. Like,
Yeah.
like you would kind of see like
Well,
he's like
but
He's
actually
never
like,
missed a game for multiple yellows. Like he's never reached the full yellow
it's-
period in a season
you know
once,
what,
and he's
though? I
only
do
ever gotten
agree he
2
has a
yellow
mistake.
cards in one
He
game
has a
one time.
mistake in him, though. You're right. He does have a mistake.
but the way he plays doesn't, it's just a little risky. Can we agree on that?
Yes, he's
Well, he's
aggressive.
physical, aggressive. Yeah, sure. But I
He's
mean, so
very
as I'm
aggressive.
saying,
You can play to his aggression to make him out of position, right? Like you can pull him out of position very easily with a striker that comes out of position like a Jesus or someone like that who comes and drops deep and picks up the ball. You'll get him out of that position.
That's why I said he's
But
more.
but what I'm
those
saying,
are
this was his first
It
straight
makes
red.
so much of a difference Van de Ven's there, because if you play that ball over the top in his area, you have someone with the pace to cover, which is the same exact thing that the Lisandro Martinez kid was doing in Argentina, was covering his space when he would come forward and play those attackers. So it's a
Yeah, so
risk.
it was his first straight red in the Premier League ever. It was his first straight red. The only other red he had was a double yellow. That was his first straight red in the Premier League ever.
For some reason, I don't know if that's how true that stat is, but we can.
100% true.
Yeah. I've seen it. It's true. Yeah. He only got 1 record last year and 1 record this season.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if we dive a little bit into this weekend, and they're going to face Newcastle at home. Now, I don't know if Son is going to be available. Is he going to be available, Will? Do you know?
They said that he was feeling sore after the game, and they'd have to assess him this weekend or something like that.
There was
So
a video of
he's
him
a
going
50-50.
crazy on the sidelines. With, I don't know if you guys watched it, but 3 or 4 collaborators around him. He was grabbing his head, kind of it seemed like it was worse than maybe what it is. So he might play this weekend, and that's a different story for Tottenham.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, whether he plays or not, if the wingers aren't finding him, it doesn't matter if he's on the pitch or not, right? Like, for example, if he's not getting any touches in the box, what's the point of him being out there? Creatively, I think he does a great job, right? You can't, if you're a striker, if you're Erling Haaland, for example, one of the best finishers in the league, right? We all know that he's league goal scorer this season. When he doesn't get found, what happens? He doesn't score.
Dries up.
It doesn't matter how good of a striker you are. When you're playing in that number 9 role, you're reliant upon your team, right, to create opportunities for you to score. Son had 1 shot in the 17th minute and didn't have a single touch in the box since yesterday. That's the midfield. That's the winger's fault, right? That's their job, is to get him the ball, right?
Question for you: how healthy is Newcastle now? Have they gotten any players back?
Well, the Newcastle injury thing is almost a myth by now. I mean, right now we have 11 starters, and that's who beat Manchester United, Chelsea,
the PSG
played
game.
great at PSG. So at this point, we have our starting 11. Now we don't have substitutions, so we have really young kids, etc. But honestly, it's not an injury issue. I think, well, obviously the Pope thing is recent. He got injured, and Dubravka is a backup goalkeeper. A lot of people blaming him for the loss against Everton. It's not true. I mean, it's you know what I'm saying. And so, but Newcastle should be good. That shouldn't be the reason as to why.
I think this is a matchup though that fits Newcastle so much. Fits Newcastle so much. This is a styles makes fights kind of thing for me with this matchup, and I think Newcastle's style for the game is what's gonna do in Spurs. Just like the way that they play, the type of counterattacking ball that they can play. When they play the counterattacking ball, the physicality in the midfield. I just think it's a styles make fights matchup.
Yeah,
I think Newcastle is going to have a little of the edge of the attacking power that they have.
So what is your score for this weekend then on that match?
I am going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
Wow, at away, we don't play really good away, but 2-0. That's
2-1 Newcastle, and I think Spurs will score first, and then Newcastle will come back and win the game.
What else?
Another 2-1 loss for Tottenham. So it'll be 4 in a row.
Elias, Spurs fan, he said that too. That
Wow.
Tottenham was going to lose at home at 2-1. But what are you guys' thoughts, Will and Daud?
I'll go next. I'll let Will go last. Because it's Spurs fan. I think Newcastle away. You're right. They haven't been good away from home. I watched that. Everton. Everton absolutely destroyed them. I
Yeah.
think they've got 11 players. I'm not sure. Dubravka, that's Pope is a massive miss. I think Spurs don't want to lose 4 in a row. I think that's going to be like, we need to take revenge. We need to finish our chances. Did Richarlison have a great chance against West Ham?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember he had a great chance as well. I think Spurs are going to win, especially at home. I think they don't want to lose. So I'd say 2-1 Spurs against Newcastle.
Wow. Well,
Yes, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a tricky one. I think it's gonna come down to one is Son fit, right? If Son's fit, then I think we have a better chance of winning than if he's not. If he's not fit, I don't know where the goals come from. I really don't know where the goals come from. Because right now we've seen over the last 5 games that are, left wingers, right wingers. The only person who scored in the for the most part in games that we've done has been, Brendan Johnson early on once, and I think it's Lo Celso twice, right? So and Christian Romero last night. So it's going to be a very difficult game for us to do. Look, I don't see us right now until the thing that made us, swap from winning games 2-1 to losing games 2-1 is really the ability of finding Son, right? Because if you remember in that period, Son went from 0 goals in the first 3 games playing on the left to coming striker and getting 8 in like 6 games, right? 5-6 games. And that was all from Maddison and Solomon finding Son in the center of in the middle, and even against low blocks, right? He scored against Liverpool when they were in a low block. He scored against I think it's Crystal Palace in the low block. So it's not Son that having a problem scoring in a low block. It's simply people finding him in that low block. There was many times last night where Son's standing in the middle of the box with his arms up in the air. He wants that ball in the half space tight to a man, right? That's what he's good at, is turning on a dime. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't. The other players just aren't playing it to him. I don't know why. Like there's these cool little stat things where they call like passing patterns. And against Wolves, Son's was completely isolated, not a single ball into him. And last night, after the 20th minute, you look at it again, and Son's completely sitting there in an island, just not even getting the ball. He didn't start getting touches on the ball again until he went back out on the left in the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. So it's a very difficult one right now. I think it's for us. It's just a quality problem. Like Manor Solomon, although he's not a great player. I think he knew he wasn't a great player, right? And there's some humility, I think, in players that aren't great, that they look for the guys that are, and they try to get them the ball. Because Manor Solomon got 2 assists. He's got 2 assists in the league, and they came in 1 game, and it was both to Son Heung-min. And they were They weren't long passes. They weren't ball. It was just a cutback, right? 2 cutbacks as he's driving down the left wing, and Son puts him away. Son doesn't need a lot of chances. He just needs a chance.
Yeah,
he just needs a chance.
So what is your score on that?
It's hard to say, man.
Say it with your chest, bro.
I'll say 2-0. 1-0 maybe.
What, Spurs?
Yeah, 1-0 Tottenham.
All right. Okay. You don't sound really confident in your team, man.
I'm not confident in the wingers, man. I can't be.
I'm
not worried about the defensive side of things, right? We didn't give up chances last night, so I'm not worried about that. The chances that we gave away were just individual stupid mistakes. Udogie wasn't even under pressure. He just literally played in Bowen for no reason. The other one was a deflected shot to Bowen, who's in the offside position, right? It's not offsides because it came to off our player, right? But he was in an offside position. He wasn't somebody that was even needed to be marked in a normal situation. I'm not concerned about the defensive side of things. I'm concerned because I don't think you guys are going to come out and attack us. If you come out and attack us, we'll probably beat you pretty easily. But I think you guys are going to sit back. You're going to be real physical. You're not going to, you're going to let us dribble into your half, and then you're going to, stump us up.
Go ahead.
If you guys do that, it's going to be hard for us to score. It really is.
All right.
That's how you beat us.
Yeah, that is true. I can agree with that. Let's move on to Chelsea first, and then we'll go to Arsenal because Joe's got to go. So let's talk about that one real quick. Real quick, the Battle of the Blues, man. Is it in London or?
It's in
Or
Everton.
Oh man,
Oh.
okay, that's gonna be wild. I trust me, I know personal experience. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts, Joe? I mean, you were pretty depleted after that United match, bro.
My thoughts?
What's next?
Hodge better do something. He got to do something, bro. He has to do something. Like I'm tired of this. Like I gotta watch. I'm not gonna wake up for this game. The game's at 7:00 in the morning for me. I am not waking up for this game. You can kiss my tush for that. I ain't waking up. Like straight up, I ain't waking up. I'll watch. I'm not waking up. But Poch, he better show something because this fan base is on its edge. He better show something. Because every week, it's like every week we have to question why he's doing what he's doing. Like every week, it's like a new thing we have to question about. Like all right, like Reece James played 45 minutes yesterday against Manchester United. Why couldn't he start? Why are we playing Levi Colwill at left back?
Right.
Like, why are we like? There's so many. It's always a question. Like how did we let Manchester United get 11 shots in 20 minutes? Like, what are you doing on the training pitch? Like, what are truly I question this dude every week. This has been since the start of the season. Chilwell left back, like Chilwell left wing. I mean, like it started with that, like from the get go, from Liverpool. Like he has to show some type of progress. Like that's my that's my biggest thing with this is like he is not showing any progress. It's one step forward, two steps back. One step forward, two steps back. And personally, why am I going like we have two players that haven't played yet. Okay, we bought two players this season that haven't played yet. Both of them have been in training for 2 weeks, full training for 2 weeks, not even seeing the bench. He has to show us something. Every week what are we going to do every week? Can just continue to question him and get 10th again? He has to show us something because this is not good enough. I'm not lowering my standards as my football club. Like that's just plain and simple. I'm not lowering them. Like if everyone wants to talk shit about Chelsea, that's cool. I'm not lowering my goddamn standards. Like I want us to get back to where we were. And I'm not gonna take anything less. Like plain and simple. I'm not. And like when I don't see any progress happening week in, week out, and we keep on playing players out of position and keep on playing players in places and keep on playing 40-year-old people weekly or 3 times a week. Because watch Thiago Silva play again this week. Third time in a week. Watch him play again. And mind you, he's a legend, but he does not, at 40 years old, he shouldn't be playing every week, every single game, mind you. Like, I'm just tired of it, bro. I'm just tired of it all. Like I can't even I can't find out what these players are because I don't know what the system is. I just don't. I have no idea what our system is because every week he plays players in different places. So how am I supposed to know what the hell the system is? So at least with Ange, you know what you're gonna get. With Poch, you don't, bro. I couldn't tell you what the lineup is. That's sad. That's sad.
So you think it's going to be a loss away at Everton?
He has to do something. I'm not about to say loss. We better win. We better win.
I don't know.
I'm going to say this every single game other than the games that I know that we'll lose or draw because but we better win. We better. Yeah. Plain and simple. We better win. I don't care what, I can't predict a score line. I'm not because I don't know who he's going to put out there. How am I supposed to predict a score line when I don't even know what he's going to put out there? But we better win. Plain and simple.
Any other thoughts on this match?
For me, I'd say Chelsea now, I think we have to come to a realization that Joe might not say it, but for me, I think Chelsea are a bang average team. I think now they're more of a mid-table team where you might get a good performance out of them 1 week, but overall during the season they're gonna have a bang average season. I think watching them against Man United, where it just felt like United dominated so much, where United have been terrible this season. If they're dominating Chelsea, you know how bad Chelsea are. And then 2-0, 2-1, sorry.
Yeah, but Daud, how do we have a performance against you guys? That's my question. How do we have a performance against City?
I think Chelsea against bigger teams where they sit back and when you sit back more and then you let them have possession, hit them on the counter attack, and you stop them from playing football. I think that's what a lot of mid-table teams do, where they stop the bigger teams playing football and hitting them on the transition with Sterling, with Cole Palmer, with Jackson. And then we have teams that sit back and say, "You play football, Chelsea. You guys play football. You don't know how to play." I think
as much as you want to say that we won a title doing that, so I don't know how.
I know, but
you can't. As much as you want to say that.
I know, but you had Diego Costa, you had Hazard. Now you've got Jackson, you've got Mudryk. Come on, man! Like this is like the players that the personality you have now. I think Pochettino. People are saying I agree as well. This season is a free hit for him. It doesn't matter if he finished 10th, it doesn't matter if he finished 12th, it doesn't matter if he finished 8th. I think this is a free hit for him, and I think next season you should be. I think that's when he should be really tested. I think this isn't a free hit. I think against Everton, Chelsea might turn up against Everton out of nowhere, like the way United turned up against Everton and won 3-0, where I predicted Everton to actually, win that game, and then United out of nowhere, turned up and beat Everton.
Will, bro. That's the thing.
And then you might turn up, beat them 2-3-0, and then you might lose the week after.
Yeah, we lose the week after. But to say that these players are mid-table, like are average, and I you know what, the two that you named, I'm gonna agree with you. But like, there's so many players on that pitch that I know they're not average. I know they're not, and they're not.
You bought players. You bought players of like, for me, I compare Enzo Fernandez to someone like James Rodriguez. I remember James Rodriguez in 2014 World Cup Brazil for Colombia, where he absolutely turned up, and then he was the best player at the World Cup. Goes to Real Madrid, because they're a completely different player. And everyone's thinking, where's that? For me, signing a player just off a World Cup with Enzo, I think there's a good player in him.
If you want to know something? You want to know something funny? Everyone keeps on pointing that one out. Everyone keeps on putting that.
No, for me, you can say Enzo.
The one that you need to be pointing out is Caicedo, because Enzo is actually not playing as badly as everyone is putting out to be. Caicedo is the one that it looks like, bro, what happened to you from last year? Like, what happened to that guy from last year? And it's to me, if that guy's playing bad and the entire team looks bad, it's on one person. That's it. That's why I keep on I keep on hitting this point with people, and I don't mean to like take over the show, but like, it's very, very, very much the same point that everybody brings up, that we have all these average players. Like, everyone's average. They make it seem like. But there's so many players on that team that show that they're not.
It's expectations is what it is, right? It's expectations. And Tottenham has been that way for a while now. When you're not expected to win, we play well, right? When we're expected to win, we capitulate, right? And that's what it looks like for Chelsea, right? When you guys are playing a team in the top 6 who should be walking over you in the current form that you're in, it relieves a little bit of the pressure. Plus, the players get up for it, right? We're playing a top side. And they go out and they play more free, they play more aggressive, they play more intense, and you guys get results. But when you're playing teams at the bottom of the table where these guys are like, yeah, we should be winning this, right? Then things start to fall apart, right? Because now those guys are going up against Chelsea, right? They've come out to play. They've come to put one on you, to put in that late tackle, right? To put some skin on you, right? To make you feel a little pain. And you guys are just crumbling in that. That's what it is, right? It's really what it is. And for me, the thing that differentiates City from a lot of the teams that I've seen over the last 6-7 years is that no matter who they play, except for probably this year, and I think that they're suffering for it this year, their intensity doesn't change. Whether they're playing Tottenham or whether they're playing Sheffield United, the intensity by which they play the game is the same. And that's why they win. That's why they win the league. That's why they go on 12, 13 game winning streaks, right? So
this
for me, that's what
weekend,
it is.
this
mentality.
weekend, just about this match in particular, that anybody expect Chelsea to win this one? Because I feel like nobody has
They
any hope.
can, but will they? That's the question. They have the
Yeah.
quality to beat Everton. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Do they have the mentality and the intensity to go out and put the performance needed to get the job done? That's the question.
All right. Well, we're gonna move on to Arsenal. Joe, appreciate you coming on, bro. Thank you.
bud.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you guys,
Big
man.
up, man.
Hope you guys have a good one.
We'll see you in the next one. And we gotta fix this up. Let's talk about Arsenal, man. Daud, I want you to start, bro, with your assessment on the Goons this weekend against Aston Villa. Boy, this is if there's a test, this is a test for Arsenal Football Club. Or maybe not. What do you think?
I think if I'm right, I think Aston Villa are the most informed team at home, and I think we're the most informed team away from home. I think it's going to be one of the most testing games we've had all season. I think these are the kind of games where you need to win to be proven that you can win the league title. I think beating Luton, beating Brentford, beating Burnley in our last couple of games, Wolves. I think they're good games to win, but when you're really tested against Aston Villa, an informed team, there's no excuses now that we can't beat them. We've got a kind of fully fit team. We're just missing Timber Partey and Tomiyasu. But when it comes to attacking wise, we've got Gabriel Jesus who's fully fit, Saka, Martinelli. You've got Havertz, now that's full of confidence. I don't think he's going to start against Aston Villa because we need to be more defensively structured in our midfield. You've got Rice now. That's absolutely looking like he's played for Arsenal for the past 10 years. I don't know how people, try to question him at the price tag. I think he's proven every single penny now. And I think he's the type of player that a lot of teams need to, galvanize them and take to the next level. There isn't that many Rices about in midfield that you can buy nowadays. That's got the ability plus the leadership, that comes with a full package. Defensively, Ollie Watkins is looking, on fire. He's probably the hottest striker in the Premier League right now. And I think if I was centre backs, Gabriel and Saliba, I think right now are the best pairing centre back in the Premier League this season right now. If they can handle Erling Haaland, kept Erling Haaland quiet the whole game. I think Ollie Watkins, I think, is a decent player, but he's not like a top-notch player. He's not a world-class striker. He's a good striker. I'd put him in the same bracket as an Ivan Toney or Solanke. I think on their day, they can perform really well, but they're not, a cut above. So I see us going there. I think Villa are going to come out strong. Only thing I'm worried about is that our left-hand side, their right-hand side, where they've got Diaby, they've got who's the other winger? I forget his name. Diaby and Bailey, Leon Bailey and Diaby. And I think they're going to play one of them in the first half, and then Zinchenko I'm very worried about. Defensively, Zinchenko, if you watched him against Wolves, he cost us that goal. He looked very suspect. Martinelli needs to do a lot of defensive work tomorrow to help Zinchenko out. And I think we're going to play Rice on that left-hand side as well, with Jorginho as a number 6 to really, that side where Aston Villa are very strong with Matty Cash. They've got Douglas Luiz or Kamara that play on that side with the right winger, Leon Bailey or the other winger. So I'm worried, but we should get a result. We should go there, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
You predict a win?
Yeah, we have to win. I think because we've got Brighton, Liverpool coming up next. I think this game, if we lose this game, I think there's going to be a bit of doubts because Brighton at home, we lose every season. Brighton at home, we've lost, except for that COVID season when there was no fans. Mostly every season we've had fans. Brighton have beaten us. So that game, I'm not sure how we're going to perform. Brighton have been inconsistent this season, but we cannot lose against Aston Villa because Liverpool, if Liverpool win, they're playing at 12:30 Liverpool. If Liverpool win, they go above us, where it adds that extra pressure. And if Villa beat us, I think they're either on same points as us, or only a couple of points behind us. So
they'd be 3 points back from you.
Yeah, so we have to at least get a result against Aston Villa, and we should with the lineup that we have. No excuses.
They'd be 1 point. So
they're 1 point behind us. Yeah. So it's getting very tight. I think this season's very different to a lot of seasons where you can be first or second and in the space of 3 weeks, you can be, you know, outside the top 4. So it's like these games, they're coming fast now, especially with Christmas period coming up now. You're playing around what 5-6 games.
We were what 5 games ago? We were 5 points clear. Now we're 9 points back.
Yeah, I know it's
in 5 games.
Yeah.
So, Will, what do you think on this match, man?
I think if Arsenal come out and play like the way that they did against Wolves, then they'll win. If they don't play that way, if they play the reserve type of game that they played in the first half of the season, I think Aston Villa will beat them, right? Because Aston Villa is not a team that's going to play out, right, into their hands. They will sit back and hit them on the counter, or they'll score from set pieces, right? And we just watched you guys concede a bunch of set piece goals against Luton. So that's the way. Like one of their goals against us came from a free kick, right? So that's how they're going to get you, and so you're going to have to keep them from getting corner kicks. You're going to have to keep them from doing all those things. And I don't know without Tomiyasu, because for me, Ben White hasn't been creative as he was last season.
No.
And so, like, you guys have gotten better. I think in the last 2 to 3 weeks, your creativity, the number of chances that you're creating is getting better from open play. Like, you guys are doing more. But so I hope you don't win. But I mean, I hope for your sake, like if I was an Arsenal fan, what would I hope? I would hope that form continues, that open, free style of play continues. Because if you sit back and you let that midfield, because they have a good midfield, their midfield's not shabby at all, and you let their forwards get in behind you in a counterattack, they're going to finish, especially at home, right? They've been ruthless at home this season. I mean, absolutely ruthless.
Won every game.
Let me ask you this, Daud. Is there a goalkeeping crisis at Arsenal? Arteta just came out and said that there's nothing to debate. And so, but clearly Raya hasn't been sharp this year. We could probably agree on that, or maybe not. But I believe in the beginning of the season, of course, the managers can do whatever they want. That's what they're managers. But I think that, like Ten Hag, Arteta brought in a problem that he didn't have. But what are your thoughts on this situation, man?
Oh, I think if you ask Arsenal fans before the season, do we need a goalkeeper? I think unanimously everyone would have said we don't really need a goalkeeper. If you can get someone that's better than Ramsdale, yes, but is it necessary? No. I think this is a problem that Arteta's brought. And people are saying, oh, we're tired of this Ramsdale, Raya conversation. But if Raya, stops making mistakes, I think the conversations are going to be, heard. I think I'm worried. I'm very worried because against Luton, that corner, I think he looked very shaky. I think if you've got a top, I think Aston Villa, they've got a lot of top players, especially with Concert. They got Torres at the back with Diego Carlos. They've also got Watkins. So set pieces, if they can get around Raya and cross it into him, I think because he's not very commanding as a goalkeeper. And this situation now, if it just feels like a problem that a problem that shouldn't have happened. I think going into every game now, we're thinking, Raya, are you going to make a mistake?
Right.
There's the 2 games now. Ramsdale made a mistake against Brentford, a couple of mistakes, and the team bailed him out. And then Ray made a couple of mistakes against Luton, and the team bailed them out. How many times is the players gonna bail out our goalkeepers until it's gonna destroy our season? I think Aston Villa, Raya, he needs to show what he's proven. I mean, show like he can prove that he is number 1, because right now they're both playing as number 2s. Right now, they're both playing as number 2 goalkeepers that are covering for a number 1 goalkeeper. Where it's like we're trying to get to our next level. We're trying to win the Premier League, trying to win the Champions League, where we're just going backwards as, when it comes to goalkeeping. And yeah, I'm very worried. I'm very worried with Aston Villa, with their crosses, with their corners, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think you're playing a manager that wants a little bit of revenge on you guys too, right? So
yeah. Because we're the only team that beaten them. I think they've won 14 consecutive games at home, and the last time they lost was against us last season when we won 3-2. a 4-2 last season. So Emery, yeah, definitely, he'll definitely want revenge, and they want to keep that winning streak at home.
Quickly, just give me your quick take and results on Manchester United, Bournemouth, and then we'll finish with Manchester City. So just tell me, Manchester United, Bournemouth. What are your thoughts on that?
I think Bournemouth can win this game. I really do. They've been getting results lately. But Bournemouth isn't a shabby team. I think that they're probably better than people make them out to be. I think that they're probably a better side. When you're talking about the look at so defensively, they're shaky. They're conceding a ton of goals, something like 30 goals this season. I think Luton's the only team that's just conceded more goals than them so far this season. Yeah, Luton's the only other team. But attacking wise, they can put some goals past you, right? They're scoring as many goals as Everton is, right? Even Crystal Palace, who's ahead of them, is only scored 14. So they're a team that, man, they can hurt you. And Manchester United is the team that can let people back. And Manchester United isn't playing with an identity. They don't control the ball. So when the fact that they're going to have, if they sit back against Bournemouth, I think Bournemouth can get a win here. Now, Manchester should win because they have the quality over Bournemouth. But this isn't a sleeper game where you can just go in and it's 3 points, chalk it off and go.
Well, I feel like after this win against Chelsea, a lot of United fans created their Twitter account and came out and started tweeting, because before this they were hitting, and now their chest is a little bit bigger after this win, and it's really like.
But they do this every week. Every week they win, they're back. The next week they lose,
and it's Ten Hag out.
Like, then they win the next week, they're back.
And to be fair, Premier League, I don't know who the hell is doing this, but I have no idea how in hell they thought Ten Hag is manager of the month and Maguire is the player of the month. I do not get this at all.
In November, I think it's because he won all his games in November, right?
Yeah, 1-3, and they didn't concede a single goal.
If he won all the games, then Ten Hag shouldn't have been manager of the month. But Daud, what are your thoughts on United, man? And are they back?
United definitely back. Give Eric Ten Hag a new contract. I think United, the fan base, everything around them, the pundits, I think he's just a circus. I think he just one minute it's a crisis and all these players are clowns and we need to sell everyone, and the next minute it's like trust the process and we're slowly making progress. Is United at home against Bournemouth?
It is at home, yes.
Yeah, so United at home this season, they've looked pretty good. I think they want to keep that winning streak going at home. If they win one, that's two wins in a row at home. I think Bournemouth have looked decent, especially at home. I'm not sure Bournemouth's record away from home this season. I'm not sure if it's good or not.
They just beat Palace 2-0, right? So they're on a 4-game unbeaten run. They've won 3 out of the last 4. They drew 1.
Yeah.
That was Aston Villa at home. So they beat Sheffield United away. They beat Crystal Palace away. They beat Newcastle at home.
Haven't United? I think United have beaten most teams below the top 10. I think they've only lost against Crystal Palace. I think most teams below the top 10 United have beaten. I think their struggle United this season is beating teams 9th or 8th or above. So I think teams below 9th may not really have done really well this season. And then I see United winning against Bournemouth at home. I think with the quality that they have, and with now they've got a stable team with Garnacho and Anthony and Rasmus Højlund and McTominay with Amrabat and Bruno Fernandes. And I think now Varane's not coming back anymore. Varane's fully gone. I think him and Ten Hag have fallen out. Luke Shaw's looking like he's got a bit of form in him. Dalot's looking decent. So Maguire, player of the month. So Maguire now the new Van Dijk. So yeah, we'll see. I think Man United will beat Bournemouth, and I see them winning. Yeah.
All right. So let's finish up with Manchester City. My question for you guys: they're playing Luton, so away, but
yeah,
I would. Well, I don't know. They Luton have surprised people at home, including Arsenal. But our City, are they still favorites to win this league? I mean, are they in a crisis or mini crisis, or what's happening with City? They haven't beaten a top team. I think they only beat one out of the, or maybe not even. So they're definitely not the same team as last season.
Yeah.
And then somebody, because I'm just going to beat them to the punch. Somebody will say, "Well, we won the treble. Of course, we're not going to be as good." But that's not what we're talking about, right? I mean, everybody knows what we're talking about. City don't look really that confident on the pitch. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that to finish up?
Oof.
I mean, City has been copying us. I don't know why, right? They lost to Villa, right? They drew with us. They drew with Liverpool. We beat Liverpool, but you know the situation on that, right? They drew with Chelsea. We lost to Chelsea, right? And then they lost to Wolves. We lost to Wolves, right? They went out of the cup around the same time as we did, right? Like it's like everything that City's doing, you know, they've just drawn a couple more than we've lost, right? So that's the makes up the 3 points between the two of us. I mean,
they haven't won a match in 4 games.
yeah, we haven't won one, and we haven't won one in 5, right? So that's the only difference. I mean, it's a very similar situation. You know, they lost 1-0 to Arsenal. We drew with Arsenal, right? So that's the you know, they drew with Chelsea. We lost to Chelsea. So that's the flip there. I mean, it's been a weird one for them. But look, this is. I just don't think that people realize sometimes that there are, especially when it comes to injuries in the spine. City is a team, and Pep Guardiola is a manager where you'll see these kinds of struggles. We've seen them every season, right? Like last year, they were like what, 8th or something like that. And then, like, if you remember the 2021 season, this season they were in like 6th place, and they ended up winning the league by 12 points, right? So it's not. They're never a team that you can count out. Are they having a mini crisis? First of all, I don't know what a mini crisis is. It's either a crisis or it's not, right? So they are having a crisis, and the crisis is that, you know, they had what, Diaby was injury, Grealish been suspended, Rodri suspended, but now they're not. They've spent their time in jail, and they'll be back, and then you'll see them start getting results again. And it's Luton. It is Luton away. I don't see them beating them big, but I do see them beating them. It'll be, you know, Luton has given every big team that's gone to their ground a hard time. They gave Arsenal a hard time. They gave us a hard time. They gave Liverpool a hard time. Right, so it's not going to be easy for them, but they'll win. I'm going to say like 2-1 City or something like that.
What are your thoughts, Daud?
Luton, they've taken points off Liverpool. They nearly took points off us. Man City playing away to Luton. I see Luton doing something. I see Luton, you know, trying to get at Man City. They're not going to be like a traditional team that just, you know, sits back and lets Man City break them down and eventually Man City win. I think they're going to go all out and think, if we sit back, we're going to lose anyway. So we might as well go for it. It just depends on what kind of City turn up in the first half. If they really want it, and if they really, you know, don't take their eye off the ball, City can win this game 4-5-0. But if they kind of get a bit of doubts, and, you know, Rodri's back, so that's a massive boost. I really want Luton to win. I don't want to jinx it, but I'm probably still gonna go for a Man City win, just to you know, keep the title race still a bit, you know, a bit spicy. And you know, Man City have to beat Luton. If Man City lose against Luton and, you know, don't beat them, I think title race is gonna look a little bit more harder to win. So yeah, I think Man City are gonna win.
All right. Well, on that note, I appreciate everybody coming on. Joe, Will, Daud. Appreciate everybody. The only one that's got a channel is Will. So right, Daud, do you have a channel?
I've got one, but I don't really upload. Just kicking it with Daud, but I don't really upload on that channel.
Okay. So yeah, and Will is Tottenham Away TV. Is that correct?
Yep, at TottenhamAwayTV on YouTube. Yeah.
And then what else? What's the second one?
At Will Stewart 365 is the fragrance one. We got, I think, 1,400 subscribers now, so it's been blowing up. Yeah, it was 600 2 days ago, and now it's 1,400. So I got one video that's kind of gone viral over there, and it's blowing up. So
that's pretty good.
If you like men's fragrances, check it out. If you like to smell good, check it out.
There it is. All right, we'll see you on the next one. I appreciate everybody coming on. Everybody that's listening on the audio listening platforms as well. That's pretty good. So appreciate everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.